Hi skiers, I'm Jeff from Skiessentials.com. Welcome to episode 31 of our Top 5 Fridays ski industry news videos. Before we jump into the week's news, I do have a couple pieces of information to share with you guys. First, I want to share our annual fundraiser. Every year we host a fundraiser here in Stowe. It's typically an in-person fundraiser. We usually do it at a local bowling alley called Stowe Bowl. And the benefit of that fundraiser is local youth ski programs. So we raise money to cover the equipment and program costs for a lot of kids, a lot of local kids in Stowe and the surrounding towns. And we really get a significant amount of kids on snow that wouldn't otherwise have the opportunity, or it would be pretty financially challenging for them to do so. So take a look at that. We're looking to raise as close to $10,000 as we can. If we do, we'll be getting like at least 50 kids on snow that wouldn't otherwise be able to. So take a look. We're going to cap it at 200 raffle tickets for $50 each. $50 might sound a lot for a raffle ticket, but there's 12 prizes, the biggest of which is a $1,700 value ski binding boot package from K2. We've also got an Enforcer 100. We've got a Stance 90 from Solomon. A ton of really good stuff to win. So take a look at that. I would be thrilled if you guys could help out, and you might end up winning something really, really cool. We are going to draw the winners on December 23rd, so a couple days before Christmas. So you still got a few weeks to purchase a raffle ticket, but they are limited. We just started selling them yesterday, and I haven't checked this morning, but we did sell a fair amount yesterday afternoon and evening. So take a look at that. In other information, not so much news, we just produced these windbreakers. Pretty exciting. We don't have that much branded Ski Essentials apparel, so it's always kind of exciting when we get something new. We will be selling these on the website. I don't believe they're up yet, but they will be in just a matter of a couple days if they're not by the time I get this video on YouTube. They're pretty simple. They're pretty thin windbreakers. I won't be skiing in it. Maybe like spring skiing would be kind of fun, but they're pretty cool. Ski Essentials logo on the back, and then it's got a Ski Essentials, the text logo on the back of it. So take a look if you're interested. Pretty cool. And then right to the news. So we've got some FIS World Cup updates, as we often do this time of year. The men's giant slalom races that were scheduled for Val d'Isere this weekend have been moved to Italy, citing a lack of snow. Now, interestingly, the speed events in Val d'Isere for the following weekend are remaining, which just goes to show what can happen in a week. A lot of things can change. So pretty excited that we still get a speed event there. And yeah, I'm sure this weekend's GS races would have been great to have at Val d'Isere, but I'm sure that'll go off without a hitch as well. And then in other ski racing World Cup news, Michaela Schifrin is going to miss the speed events in St. Moritz this weekend. And that's basically due to the fact that she hasn't trained speed events since like January. We talked about this quite a bit over the summer, but the United States team had pretty limited opportunities to get on snow, and when they did, they just didn't have the terrain necessary to train for speed events. So no Michaela in this weekend's races, which is always kind of a bummer, but hopefully we get her back soon. There are more speed events for the women in a few weeks, although I don't know if Michaela will be in those either. But we'll have to see, and we'll keep you guys posted if we find out more. Second topic of the week, we're kind of sticking in Europe on this one, and this is it's a big topic right now, so this is kind of a little bit vague of a news topic, but we're getting some really divided opinions on ski resort closures in Europe right now. So a number of European countries, including Germany, Italy, and France, have all called for the closure of ski resorts through the holiday season. A lot of them are pointing out like January 10th as a date that they're looking for to open things back up, but not all countries are agreeing with them, which is kind of bringing some uncertainty to what skiing is going to look like in Europe over the next month or so. Specifically Austria, their tourism industry really opposes the plan to shut down all EU resorts. and they're asking for, or demanding rather, €2 billion if they're forced to close, which is pretty interesting. And this is really going to be one that we're going to have to keep a close eye on. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, he announced that France will be applying restrictions to prevent people from going to Swiss ski resorts, which currently remain open, and from the sounds of it, they plan on remaining open. There were some reports from those Swiss resorts that say, like, yeah, it looks a little different. Most of the people here are Swiss rather than people from all over Europe. So this is going to be interesting to watch. Let us know if you're in Europe and you're skiing or you're not skiing. Let us know where you've been, where you live, how things are going for you personally. I know I really value getting that feedback from you guys, and I know other people that watch these videos really like to read comments and feedback from people that have firsthand experience and firsthand information. So pretty interesting. We all knew that this ski season was going to look and feel a little bit different, and that's the reality of things, and we're going to keep watching it and see how it goes. And now for the third topic of the week, we have some kind of US-based COVID updates. This first one I really like, and it's something that we're seeing in Stowe as well. Bangor Daily News, good old Maine, from Maine. Bangor Daily News reported on skiers using their cars as mini lodges, which, of course, people are going to do that right now in a pandemic. Lots of people already kind of use their cars as mini lodges. What I think is really cool is that we're kind of seeing people take it a step further than they normally do. I specifically know some people here in Stowe that this summer and this fall, kind of expecting a different ski season, they went out and invested in either like a big van or an actual RV, or like a bus that they've kind of retrofitted and turned it into a lodge for their ski families. So they're like literally driving their lodge to the mountain, and some of them even have heat and electricity. And I think that's really cool to see. And I think that, I just think that's a cool environment to have at a ski area. And I just think it'd be really fun to especially for a kid. If you're a kid growing up with a good ski family, and you've got this RV that you're taking to the mountain every day, and in your own little personal lodge, I think is really cool. So fun to see people adapting. I will say, from a first-hand experience skiing this week in Stowe, they've been doing a really good job. And I think guests have been doing a really good job as well. Everyone's respectful. People are kind of following rules and keeping their distance. So fingers crossed that things continue to remain pretty positive up here in Stowe. Over on the other side of the continent, Whistler has confirmed COVID cases in their staff housing, which is something that we've been talking about internally as like that would really be tough for a mountain. Thinking about Stowe, like say they had an outbreak among their lifties or something, like that would really cause a problem for the mountain ops staff, and it would be a challenging problem to solve. They're not really releasing details on how many employees this includes, which I think is probably good privacy. And Whistler has put out statements saying that they're committed to supporting these employees. They're giving them food and necessities throughout this, which I think is really cool. And they also, they put out a statement saying that they are more concerned with the safety and health of their staff than anything else. So that'll be something to watch as well, but I expect they'll get that under control pretty quickly. Timberline in Oregon, they are no longer requiring reservations. John Burton, their marketing director, basically had a quick statement about why, and it makes a lot of sense. Basically, once the parking lot is at a safe capacity, Timberline Road will close, and as cars go down rather, more cars can come up, which is basically how Timberline has operated every year. So if you're a longtime Timberline skier, it won't look or it won't feel significantly different to you. And then over in California is no longer allowing for same-day lift tickets. So in California, you now have to reserve at least the day before. So pretty interesting. We just kind of bounced all around the continent, or really around the world if we go 2 topics back. And there's some differences about how things are going, and I think that's to be expected. So everyone stay positive. Maybe you are in a tricky situation in your region and your resorts are closed. I still feel confident that, especially after we get through this holiday season, I think things will be a little bit easier. But yeah, something to watch. I think I really value that so far here in Stowe. We've been in a pretty good position, which I think is great. 4th topic of the week is going back to ski racing, but more news than race updates. Ryan Cochran-Siegel, who's a member of the Cochran's clan, so to speak, here in Vermont. If you're not familiar with Cochran's, you should be, because it's like the smallest mountain in the world that's produced the most Olympic athletes, or I don't remember. There's some stat that's really interesting, but it's a really small, really small resort. They just have a rope tow, and the Cochran family has put out a ton of good ski racers. Ryan Cochran-Siegel specifically, he had a career best season last year. He had a 6th in the Beaver Creek downhill, and then a 5th in Alpine Combined at Bormio. And Ski Racing Magazine has a highlight on Ryan and his plan to let it all hang out this season, which he kind of talked about helps him like push things out of his mind and just kind of ski with instincts, which I think is really cool. And yeah, go Ryan Cochran-Siegel. I think it would be awesome to see him have some success this year racing, so he will be one to watch. And then Jimmy Krupka has a new podcast called Arc City. He was previously the host of the official Ski Racing Media podcast, and this new podcast seems like it's going to be a winner. The intro is really cool. I'll let you find that out for yourself. And then the first episode features Julia Mancuso, who is always very entertaining and very interesting to listen to. So yeah, I really encourage you to check out his podcast if you have time. And then finally, we have our edits of the week. First is Gore Flex from the Bulldoze Gang. I admittedly have never heard of these guys, but pretty cool skiing. It's mostly some creative backcountry stuff, and the reason they called it Gore Flex was they were saying that like none of their gear really fits Gore-Tex standards, which, yeah, I think that's a creative name. I don't know. Okay, it's fine. I've skied in t-shirts in the backcountry, probably. I can't say it was the most effective thing ever, but they've got a good attitude, these skiers, and it was a fun one to watch. Next up is a little short edit. It's like 4 minutes long, called Forgive. And this was really impressive to me. It's a group of just extremely talented Finnish skiers, mostly urban environments, a little bit of kind of park stuff thrown in there too, but mostly urban and street skiing. And these guys are really, really good. Just reading through the comments on some of the sites that shared this video, people are pretty darn impressed, and I am too. So we'll probably see more out of this group of skiers, because it was easy for me to just pick out their raw talent in watching this. And then we get an edit from Dylan Siggers. Dylan Siggers is always a pleasure to watch ski. He's got a really good style, a lot of control, a lot of fluidity in his skiing, which I really like. And this is just kind of a feel-good edit, really good mix of skiing, a lot of backcountry, side country kind of stuff, and it's just really feel-good vibes, I think. And then the last edit of the week, this one's pretty unique. I watched this yesterday, and I admit I was glued to the screen the entire time with like kind of this look on my face. It's Jesper Tjeter and Red Bull. They got together and put out or produced a short film with Jesper's skiing that's inspired by 90s Japanese game shows. So yeah, I guess wrap your mind around that and picture whatever you think that might be. I don't know if you'll get it right, but yeah, you have to watch this, or at least part of it, because it's as entertaining as it is weird, for sure. maybe it's weirder than it is. I don't know. It's pretty weird, but it's also the production value is like through the roof. Basically, anytime Red Bull touches anything like this, chances are your production value is going to be really good. So it's a combination of weird with really high production value and some really good skiing because Jesper Tjeder is a unbelievably talented guy. So definitely check that out. And that's it. So really encourage you to check out our fundraiser, and I would strongly appreciate it if any of you make a donation in the form of a raffle ticket. And yeah, we'll be back next week. I wasn't able to get Bob in this video. He's unfortunately home with, or not unfortunately, he's home with his kids again today, so wasn't able to get him in, but hopefully we'll have Bob back as soon as we can. And yeah, hope you guys are getting out on snow. Not the best start of the season here in Vermont in terms of like snow quality and conditions, but things are starting to improve. We're supposed to have a little bit of a storm roll through this weekend, and then the temperatures, at least in the forecast, are staying cold, so they'll be blowing snow up there as much as they can. So we'll be putting out as much on snow content as we can, so keep an eye out for that, and we'll talk to you guys soon.